I always wanted to be a veterinarian when I was a kid. That was my dream. And then that faded away. And I went through, I dabbled in many things. I was in a rock band, and then I went to school for a little bit, but left because my father passed away in 2008. And after that, sort of made a bucket list of things I wanted to do before I died. And skydiving was one of them. And after that first jump, it changed my life. The discipline in skydiving that I was pursuing, that was my love, was high-performance canopy piloting. So it's sort of like the NASCAR of parachutes, if I had to explain it. It's like driving a race car. And in a competition setting, you're sort of flying through courses, whether it's getting tracked for how fast you go or how far you go. You sort of have to fly through this laser that tracks when your toes clip it, and then from there you score for a round. So it takes a lot of accuracy and skill, and you're diving these parachutes towards the ground at speeds of upwards of 120 miles an hour. February 15th, 2012. Just started my dive towards the ground, and that was it. I sort of just continued it in the ground, and I didn't plane out the canopy to bring it out of a dive. And I saw that I was low, so I lifted my legs, and my lower back hit the ground, going unbelievably fast, and just shattered my back immediately, paralyzed me. A few days until I sort of came to and started realizing what happened, and that was it. It's just a momentary change of life. When I was in the hospital bed during my original injury, I was thinking about what I was going to do next with my life, because I can help myself, and I decided I can still be a veterinarian. So went back to school at the University of Arizona, finished my undergrad, applied to vet school here at Colorado State, was accepted, and this past May graduated. All the faculty was unbelievably welcoming and willing to adapt as needed to help both with mobility issues and the other issues that come with being someone that's paralyzed, like pain and stuff like that. The amount of seating related challenges that I faced at vet school was unbelievable, and by any stretch of the imagination from all my doctors, it's very surprising that I survived what I went through. Going to sitting a lot in a wheelchair, and I was in my chair from 5 o'clock in the morning to 10, 11 p.m. at night. And that abrupt change of being in a chair, I ended up getting a pressure sore, and this was on a product previous to Ride. And over that first year of school, bacteria sort of just ate away at my tissue and abscessed all the way to the bones in my pelvis until it ruptured. And from that point, I went septic many, many times, had one flap surgery that failed because the surgeon didn't remove enough infected bone. MRSA had invaded my pelvis, and I ended up getting a hemipelvectomy, so they removed half of my pelvis to remove the infected bone. Had another flap, and just went through so much, and was in a bed almost spanning an entire year, and went septic so many times, and was on IV antibiotics for a year and a half, and I was very lucky to be alive. If I wasn't as close to Ride as I was, there'd be no way I could have finished vet school. If I went through what I went through that first year in another state, that I would have had to drop out. Without Ride, I would not be alive, and there'd be no way that I could have made it through this program. What I'm participating in this year is what's called my postdoc training. So I'm sort of dabbling in some services that are of interest to me going forward, and using this year to sort of strategize about my future and figure out what I am going to be going into.